Hey guys, we're back talking about Johnny Somali again, because you've all seen that he faces a maximum of 36 years in jail if he's convicted of all the crimes that he's accused of committing in South Korea. Well, it turns out that Johnny Somali might get off much easier. In fact, he's almost certainly going to. There's pretty much no chance that he even serves half of the potential 36 years in jail. But that's not because of anything he did in particular, it's because of the way the Korean law is structured. Legal Mindset actually did a deep dive into how Korea does sentencing recently on his channel. As you can see here in this video, these are the predictions that Legal Mindset has for what Johnny Somali might actually end up facing in jail. You might note that the maximum one here is 12 years in jail. That's right. If everything stays the way it's going, it turns out that the maximum amount that Johnny Somali can possibly serve in jail, unless they do some weird shenanigans, will be 12 years, not the 36 that you see everywhere. And that's because of the way the 36-year number is calculated. People have calculated the 36 years in jail due to the fact that if you add up the maximum amount of time in jail that Johnny Somali can serve for each different count of the crimes that he's been accused of, it adds up to 36 years. But South Korea has laws limiting how sentencing can be handled. So, because Johnny Somali is charged with a bunch of different counts of the same crimes, they stack, but they don't stack the same way they would in the US. There's a maximum amount of time in jail that you're eligible to get when it comes to multiple counts of the same charge at the same time. But the way that the Korean law is structured is his maximum amount of time in jail will probably be 12 years. That being said, that doesn't mean he's gonna get 12 years. He could get as little as 6 months in jail if he's convicted on all the counts he's accused of. Honestly, I would be shocked if he got 6 months in jail for the things that he's accused of doing. There's absolutely no way that with how he's acted in front of the Korean media, in front of the judge, that the judge would give him the minimum sentence. So how this works and how this chart's set up was Legal Mindset went through and looked at the sentencing guidelines in South Korea. In the first column here, you have the punishments doled out by South Korean courts if there are mitigating factors to the crime, meaning, oh, this guy's actually really apologetic or didn't mean to break the law. So if you accidentally knock some stuff over in a business and you really didn't mean to and you feel really bad about it, that could be obstruction of business, but they'd only give you a fine for it. Honestly, I think most reasonable people, at least in my opinion, would say that Johnny Somali's conduct kind of goes above the mitigating factor because he hasn't really shown remorse. I think right now he still has a chance to do that. He could go on an apology tour and become very apologetic, and he might get away with this. He might just get a fine for obstruction of business charges. The deepfake ones is a little bit more complicated for him, and the minimum amount that he could potentially serve if he's convicted on them, which he has not been, is 6 months. And then the default, which is what they normally just give people who committed the crime, they don't have any mitigating factors, that's 1 year for obstruction of business and 1 year 6 months for the deepfakes. Again, I don't know that what Johnny Somali's done fits into the default section either, because of how he's acted and how non-remorseful and kind of disrespectful he's been towards the court. I would assume that they would sentence him based on aggravating factors because, well, it's Johnny Somali, you know how he acts. So that means that potentially, if he's convicted of all the charges that he's been charged with, including the deepfake charges, he could face between 4 years and 3 months and 12 years in jail. So that's not exactly 36 years in jail. It looks a lot more like Johnny Somali's gonna get off pretty easily. I mean, he's already done 3 months in jail in Japan. Now, the minimum he might get in South Korea is 6 months. That doesn't seem like much of a punishment, and I think that a lot of you would agree that if you were South Korean, you'd probably want to see him get a little more time. However, that's just the way the law is written. Apparently, South Korea really doesn't like jailing people for long periods of time. So how do you guys feel about this? Do you think that this is too short? Do you think that Johnny Somali only potentially facing between 6 months and 12 years in jail is a problem and that he should face more? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching all the way till the end. Remember to like and subscribe. Have a great day and God bless you.